Meanwhile, the war in Ukraine is still raging and is forcing millions of people out of their homes. And among the refugees are some Jewish families, some of whom have now been given sanctuary in a new center with a special kitchen, a kitchen that abides by their culture. An expert gets you the details.
These Jewish families come from war-torn Ukraine. They had no option but to flee their homes in order to stay safe. Fortunately, the families found refuge in the newly opened refugee camp near Lake Balaton in Hungary. Lake Balaton is a well-known tourist spot near the country's capital, Budapest. Spread over an area of 18 hectares, this refugee camp is able to shelter nearly 700 Jewish refugees with particular attention to their religious dietary requirements. What makes this camp special is its kosher kitchen, a kitchen that stands true to Jewish culture. In a kosher kitchen, meat and dairy products are kept separately. There are two sets of utensils, one used for cooking meat and poultry, while the other is used only for dairy products.
Obviously, our responsibility in a time of war is for the refugees. This is what the camp was made for. And we have an extra responsibility for our own members of our community, Jewish people, especially that this is a unique refugee camp in the sense that right now this is the only refugee camp in Europe which is a kosher camp.
The camp's kosher kitchen can already cater to around 1,000 people. Many of the staff members working in the kitchen are themselves Ukrainian refugees. The families are happy as they can raise and educate their children in the Jewish faith.
The plan is to stay here until the war ends, but I think if the war continues for years, for more than a year, and we find our new place here, my children have a new education, new place to continue their education and so on, I think we shall stay here. But right now we still have hope to return home, for after several months or a year.
In April, the Jewish communities of Ukraine and Hungary approached the Hungarian government with a request to help set up a camp for several hundred Ukrainian Jews who required kosher food. The organization saw a need to create both a temporary living space and then a long-term residence for refugees arriving from more than 100 Ukrainian Jewish communities. Soon, the camp named Mashne Shabbat was set up with hopes to provide stability for displaced Jewish families from Ukraine who are trying to rebuild their lives. Together, the Ukrainian and Hungarian communities are renovating the existing but long disused site with plans to expand and add more communal areas. The war in Ukraine has triggered the largest displacement of European citizens since the Second World War. The United Nations estimates that at least 12 million people have fled their homes since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. More than 5 million have left for neighboring countries, while 7 million people are still thought to be displaced inside Ukraine itself. WION, World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.